Be smarter than the stabler.
Do not take T50s because I will go ballistic. Because that was the problem. I searched through all these to find
blue
one.
on this side. What's the blue thing say?
It says Arrow T50s.
And that's what those are.
Box says Arrow T50s.
Or do I just not understand you? That's also an option. Probably read the instructions.
Smarter than the stabler.
Yeah. Actually, it's really easy.
Good. About 10,000 of those I gotta put in. Hi guys, so it's finally event day. Eric and I are here at Toronto, Ohio at Cables Creek Campground. We have about 42 riders today for Saturday's event. I know my hair looks terrible, but it's like 90, 95 degrees with 70% humidity, and I really don't care. So we actually lucked out a lot. It hasn't rained at all. It's supposed to be thunderstorming tomorrow, but I don't know, that could just be the weather app seeing the heat and humidity. But all in all, attacked by a butterfly. All in all, we were only here for like 3 weekends, which is really good compared to our first event here. We had about 8 people here last weekend helping us set up. So a big shout out to the Springs, the Hoys, Catanzarites, to Ron Cattrall and John Hanselman. Big shout out to those guys. Ron was the one who got our hot water heater working again, which was awesome. We had some flooding here over the past couple weeks, and it kind of took out our entire shower house. So, and by took out, I mean flooded the entire thing with silt. I don't even know how high the water got in the bathrooms, but our hot water heater was kind of out of commission, which cold shower wouldn't be bad for 90-some degree temperatures, but Ron got it working again, so that was very much appreciated. I'm gonna try getting a couple minutes with Eric later on today to take a walk through one of the sections for tomorrow, because I realized in the last video that we didn't do too much of a tutorial, and what I wanted to do is really give you guys an idea on how he sets up the gates for each section, how he sets up the skill lines, the obstacles, because everybody has a different mindset on how to set them up. So I figured it'd be an interesting look into how Toronto's set up. Like I said, I know the last video I did was kind of just entertainment value, and I haven't been doing quite as much videoing as I wanted, but it's been a lot of work. It's really, really hot. And last weekend when we were here, we were actually only here for Saturday, and we kind of really pushed to get everything done. So except for some weed eating on the loop, we pretty much got the whole thing done, which was awesome. Today the pup's dying, so we've only been at one section. We're gonna hit the second section, and then we have a pizza vendor on site, so I'm gonna go get some pizza, chill, have some water. It's really hot, it's really humid, but we have a lot of riders, a lot more than I expected to show up. I know the heat kind of drove a couple people away, so for Toronto it's either heat or rain, so take your pick. There's no in between. Now the pup's being attacked by a butterfly. You being attacked by a butterfly, pup? It's right there. Right there, butterfly.
I'm spending money like I just got paid. $100 bills, tell them keep the change. Come on. Pop a bottle, about to make it rain. Let me give you something now to celebrate. Come on. And if you're wondering why I move the way I do, I just feel so good, good, good. Oh, 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 I just feel so good. I see the world through my thrift store shades, rose-colored lenses and a fake gold frame. Come on. Playing old rock songs on an air guitar, posing for your picture like a superstar. Yeah, come on. And if you're wondering why I move the way I do, I just feel so good, good, good. Oh, 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 I just feel so good. If you feel it, just dance along. Keep the feeling going on and on. If you feel it, just dance along, dance along, dance along. Yeah. If you feel it, just dance along. Got to keep the feeling going on and on. Yeah. If you feel it, just dance along, dance along. Oh, I just feel so good. I just feel so good.
So Eric is doing a final, well, sorry, not a final, a first run through the loop. Some last minute changes for today, for Sunday's competition. So I figured this would be a good opportunity to have him kind of talk you through how he sets up a section. So I'm gonna go over and meet him at that section and we'll kind of talk through why he picks the obstacles that he does, how he picks the lines. And I thought it would be a good chance to kind of set you guys up if you wanted to make your own section or you had a small spot in the woods that you wanted to play with. So we're gonna go meet Eric and talk through that.
All right, we're gonna go over how we set up our first section of the day. Generally speaking, if you want to figure out where to put in a section, you need to make sure you have something challenging enough for the highest line you have, but still passable for your lower levels to get through without putting anybody in danger. So the section like this is extremely challenging hillside. It's nice to start because there's very little cleaning, not much to work with as far as having to pull roots out or cut trees down. There's huge obstacles on a hillside, but still this really nice low line that's safe. No one's gonna get hurt riding through here for our novice riders. I think one of the most important things in setting your first section is to not go gate crazy. Put as few gates as possible to achieve what you want. So instead of putting in several lines to achieve where you want people to go, block them off with another class. That way they have to go the way you want, but they're not following 8 splits for the section. Try to keep to a minimum of 3 splits for each class. As far as cleaning goes for your sections, you want to make sure you pull out all of your loose sticks, small ones, anything that's going to be in the way, small stuff that you're going to roll over, cause problems and not really be an obstacle. If it's going to be moving around, it's just going to cause issues later in the day. It might roll down the hill, get into a line you didn't intend. You want to make sure you clear your underbrush enough that the riders can see what's underneath. It's just a safety aspect. It also makes everything just look nicer, makes your sections look professional. You want to make sure that you trim your trees down as far as you can, so as a rider's coming through, these aren't at face level. The last thing you want The rider focused on an obstacle to come in only to take a branch to the face and be disoriented, hit them in the eyes, and now they can't see where they're going. It's just another safety factor to keep in mind. Once you reach the level of advanced class for TI, you've basically signed away your ability to be safe in a section. We will keep it as safe as possible, but you've reached a level that is challenging and is going to be a certain level of unsafe. There's just no getting around it. If you want to be challenged, you're going to get a little dangerous. But as we see at the very top of this hill, we have a gate at the very top going up and around and come down this loose, rooted section through here. It's dangerous, but if you chose to ride that level, you should be skilled enough to come through here. If you chose a lower line than that, we keep you on the bottom side of the hill. We don't take you to the top. We make sure everything is clear and passable. There's nothing that's going to send you into a spot where you can't put a foot down. That's one of the most important things to remember, is you have to make sure there's room to dab. If there's a spot where they're going to dab downhill, make sure there's something there they can put their foot on. The worst crashes come when you go to put a foot down and there is nothing there. You end up with a long ride down a hill with a bike on top of you. I think another important thing to think about is keeping the size of your section down to the minimum that you need to minimize the amount of time the rider is in the section. A lot of times you get overzealous and make your section so big because there's so much stuff you want to use on a hillside. But you want to make sure that you're not going to create a bottleneck at the section by having the riders be in for anything over a minute. I think 30 seconds in a section is plenty for any rider to get in, do some challenging obstacles, some tight turns, and get out. That way you don't create a line, don't get a backup in your section. So keep in mind, keep your sections as small as you can to still get in what you want, and make sure people are still able to have fun and get some time in the section. But make sure that you're not going overboard. It's real easy to make a mile-long section that you have to have 3 checkers and people are going to be in forever, especially if you make it challenging. If it's an easy section, you can get away with putting a lot of area in there if you have a lot of transfer time between obstacles you need to get to, so it doesn't take up any time. But if you pound people into the ground with 5 splits in a long section, they're going to be in there forever and you're going to create a backup. And it's going to basically cause a little bit of civil unrest with your riders. Nobody likes waiting in line. The best thing you can do is make sure people get funneled through and get out and ride. If you're going to do a long section, make sure your next one is short. In and out, that way people keep moving, keep traffic going through the whole event. So talking about using less splits to create a turn that you'd like to have, we've blocked off the easy exit to the section with a novice gate. What we've created is a tight turn around some roots to get out the exit for every other class. We have only used 1 split, but we've created 5 other classes that have to come around this turn without wasting a bunch of gates. Keeps everything simple, makes it easier to get around. Lastly, probably the most important part of setting up a section, and to be honest, the funnest part of setting up a trial section, is making sure you ride in all the lines at least up to your skill level. That way you know everything you put in is actually rideable. A lot of times things from your feet seem a lot easier till you get on the pegs. You approach something from the pegs, the bars in your hands, and things get a lot bigger, a lot faster, turns get smaller, everything gets harder. So always make sure you ride in as many lines as you can.
Just dance along, keep the feeling going on and on. If you feel it, just dance along, dance along, dance along. Yeah. If you feel it, just dance along. Got to keep the feeling going on and on. Yeah. If you feel it, just dance along, dance along. Oh, it just feels so good.
I want to take the time just to thank all the guys that helped set this up. The Spring family, all of you, Marky, Bill, Amanda, all these guys helped out a whole bunch. Had the Kanzerites show up and the Hoys show up to help us all out. We can't do this all on our own. Especially thank my girlfriend Stephanie. She does more work than any of you guys realize, helping with all this. We'll start it all again tomorrow. Everybody go cool off. Thank your checkers. All right.